And we're live, bitches. What's up, what's up, what's up? It's BitConnect. Is that a really old reference? Shit. Let me just check the sounds coming through on the old YouTubes. Yep. I just heard myself in the headphones. It was not pleasant. Hello, Giselle the Gazelle. How are you? Thanks for joining us. Hey, buddy.
Oh, hello, friend.
Welcome to Dune Club. How you doing, Glynis? How's life?
Oh, it's going.
Hell yeah. What did you think of this week's segment of Dune?
This was kind of one of those where I'm like, I just wanted to get on to the next part, really. It felt very transitional.
Yes, it's very much like putting the pieces on the board at this point.
Yep.
Getting it all ready. Yep.
One where they need to be, and then we can keep going.
That's right. Yep. There is like a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Like the dynamics of relationships are definitely changing. So like we start off with Jessica and Paul, and it's still like tense AF because after everything that just happened, like he's had his awakening. He's there and he's like, "Oh, Mom Shiba," and she's freaking out, and she's like, "What have I done?" And he's pissed with her, and blah blah blah. So we start this section with Giselle says, "Happy to be here this time," and same. We're happy to have you. It's nice for you to be here. So Jessica and Paul are waking up inside a tent. It's covered in sand. I hate sand.
This whole, like, so many parts in this section felt very claustrophobic.
Yeah. That's true, which is weird because they're in the fucking open desert.
Right.
Yeah, but it's
that's
so
deep. It's like the ocean.
Yeah, that's right. It's like you've got your little safe raft of tent and then everything else around you is deadly and, "Hey, baby, how you doing?" Such a camera star. She doing commercials yet?
She's had a couple offers, but she's like, waiting for
floating.
the right. Yeah,
that's fair. I would do that if I had any talent. So can we just take a second to giggle at how many times he uses the word sphincter in this first bit? It's amazing.
This, like, Frank Herbert is so good at language and using words and coming up with the exact right word for the exact right imagery, and then you went with sphincter.
So he's talking about I guess the tent entrance or something, and yeah, all I could think was like butthole, butthole, butthole as I'm reading it, which is great. I enjoyed it. So they have waited as long as they can for Idaho. He's told Paul before he fucked off that he was like, "If I am not back by this time, I'm probably tortured to death, so just head on out." So they do that, and they dig themselves out and pack up their shit, head into the desert. They're surrounded by firefights, and like thopters are searching around, which I can't wait to see in the movie. I want to see like what the las guns and shit look like when they fire it and stuff.
And I want to hear like the soundtrack that's gonna go with this.
Oh yeah.
That's like
Do we know who's doing that yet? I wonder if it's
probably
on.
good.
Probably someone good. I fucking hope so. Hang on, I'm gonna look it up.
If it's
June 2020. Can you imagine? Then talking about I'm gonna start binging Battlestar Galactica finally fucking 20 years later with my dad because it's awesome. That does the soundtrack. Bear McCreary also does the soundtrack for my favorite video game of all time, which is God of War. And if you guys haven't listened to either of those, you should go listen to both of those soundtracks. Yeah, he's fucking prolific. I don't know, like, how old is that guy? He must be.
He's only in his like early
max. That is insane. That is crazy. Like, how can you do that much good work when you're that young? Let's have a look. Who did that? Oh, it's Hans Zimmer.
I know, like, oh, well, yeah, then it's gonna be good.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. He's pretty talented, yeah. So there's a quote here that I put. "My father once told me that respect for the truth comes close to being the basis for all morality. Something cannot emerge from nothing," he said. "This is profound thinking if you understand how unstable the truth can be. Sorry, the truth can be. This is really
Right.
fucking relevant watching like snippets of this riot trial bullshit today.
Oh my God.
Yeah, what do you think he's trying to say here?
It reminds me of that Obi-Wan quote of like the truths we hold so dear depend greatly on our point of view. Because yeah, like what is truth? Um, it's something we like to think of as like, well, truth is very black and white, but like, I don't know, man, truth is pretty subjective.
Yep. And we say it in the show all the time, right? Like, good people do bad things and bad people do good things. And that's what June's trying to get across is, and also like even if you have powers like Paul does, where you like can see into the future, you can't really see into the future because there's so many variables. And so even what he sees as visions to be true, this like most powerful human that's ever existed, even that is subjectively true.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Pretty cool.
everything is up to interpretation.
Yeah. Fun. So fun. I love it.
I need to rewatch Atonement now.
Ooh, I don't know if I've seen that.
It's one of the few movies that I think was actually better than the book, and it's because of the soundtrack.
Is that the one with
Like,
Keira Knightley in it?
yeah, Keira Knightley, Benedict Cumberbatch, James McAvoy, and Saoirse Rowan when she was a
Mm.
kid.
Wow, that would be cool. How long did that was a while ago that movie came out.
Oh my God, don't make me think about how long that came out.
All I know is is it the green dress in that one that she wears that's super
Yep,
famous? Yeah, yeah. I have to watch that just for the fashion alone, I'll be honest.
very sexy library scene. So
Ooh. Anytime in a library it's sexy, so that's just that's just fact. All right, so we cut to Hawat, the fear Hawat. He is also reeling in the desert with what's left of his men, 20 down from 300. Oh, she's so snuggly. I love her. Their Thopters have died and they are hiding. They're defeated. A Fremen has visited with information about the attackers, including that Gurney Halleck is still alive and he's safe with the smuggler allies. Hawat, after seeing the Imperial forces, is now fully convinced that Jessica was a traitor. He's not being a super great mentat right now, but to be
he
fair, he's had a
is
bad day.
so like I have. Oh God, like the cop who's like, I want this person to be guilty, so now all
Yep,
the evidence I collect will point that way.
that's right.
He,
And like he's
yeah,
way too emotional to be effective, in my opinion. Yeah, because he's like obviously the Duke is a great dude. He loved the Duke. The Duke just died. He's grieving. He's
well,
fucked.
I mean, men just get so emotional sometimes.
See a therapist, the fear. We all have to do it. So the Fremen flat out tells him that he has too many wounded and not enough water to sustain his tribe for the journey. That he has to decide who's. Oh, yeah, me too. Like this whole discussion, because there's that like language barrier between them as well, and cultural barrier, and it's really evident in them trying to understand each other. Because the Fremen are like these tough sons of bitches that, you know, straight up they're just like, if you want to survive, you need water. You're gonna have to leave bitches behind. And Sophia's like, no one left behind, and they're like, yeah, it's really interesting. Hey, what did you think about who do you think is gonna like successfully play that Fremen character? Like, what kind of type would that have to be?
I mean, Zendaya. Like, I'm really excited about her casting because I think that is like she's the perfect Fremen. I think that's like you've
Yep.
hit it out of the park with her casting.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, because it has to be someone like direct that gives no fucks. That is like, yeah, I agree with you. I can see that. So what happens here? Yeah, so what? Blah blah blah. The Fremen flat out tells him blah that he needs to decide he's left behind. Essentially, maybe.
I'll be back. She got me.
Oh no. Well, R.I.P. Glynis. It was nice while it lasted. I'll just keep talking. I'll keep talking till you come back. Duncan Idaho is asked about. There's no confirmation whether he's still alive or whatever. Sophia learns for certain that the Duke is dead. Hey, they have risen. We have risen. Nice. Nice to
She
see you.
doesn't like when I wear things like glasses or headphones or hats. They have to come off.
You got all three. Oh
Get in
man,
the way.
I love it. Let me love you without obstruction. Giselle says Ricardo Montalban. I'm so sorry if I said that wrong. Would have made a great Fremen. I'm gonna have to look up who that is.
Yeah, we need to look
Ricardo.
up who that is.
Yeah, give me a sec. Ricardo. This is great watching. Mexican film actor. Is this who we're talking about? Died in 2009. Is that the
Oh
one?
no.
Yeah, sorry if that's news. I'm certain that they would know, right? But you're saying that kind of style from Star Trek? Oh, the original Khan. Oh, duh.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, I can totally see that.
I could see
Sorry.
like a Rami Malek doing a good Fremen.
Yeah, because I don't know if anyone's seen Mr. Robot, but it's that like intensity of these people have been molded by the need for survival from day one. Like they don't have time to fuck around. It's really interesting. Um, where did I get to? Thafir learns for certain that the Duke is dead. The troops hear it too. Imagine being in that scenario. So there were 300 of you to start. There's 20 left. One of them's on the way out. They're all wounded. They're hiding. They're scared. And they've just learned that there's no going back. You can't go back to Caladan. Arrakis is fucked. There's no bargaining chips. You have no power anymore. Like, what would you do there?
Cry.
Yeah, same. Just cry. Oh yeah, we hear more about how do you pronounce this name? This Liet. Is it Liet?
Oh yeah, Liet.
Yeah. So they find out that he's the one that sent the Fremen. Motives are yet to be revealed, but there's a warning from the Fremen about like using the shields with the worms. That's a bit sus. Like he's like, don't use the shields; it'll attract the worm. And he's like, what were you actually going to say there? It's really strange. I don't know. What did you think about that?
That whole character, I think, is the biggest question mark in the book. Like all roads seem to lead there.
Yeah.
I think I think maybe something big is coming. I don't know.
Is there a twist that we're going to talk about in about 20 minutes? Who knows? Robo says, hey, everyone. What's up, buddy? How you doing? What's up? I have to put it in the chat. What's up? We're just getting to the good part. So, in that end. Oh, it's getting there. Keep losing my place. Oh yeah, so Liet sent the Fremen. He wants to know more about the Harkonnen artillery, like the cannons that they're using to keep people inside the caves. The fear is like astounded to learn that the Fremen easily beat some Sardaukar to obtain one of those.
Yeah,
they must
doesn't believe it.
Yeah, which is fair. Like these are supposed to be like what's the equivalent in Star Wars, like the Red Palpatine Guard or whatever they are. What are they called?
It
Red
sort of
Knights?
reminds me of like I don't know, like conquistadors or whomever, like settlers being repelled by native tribes of like, but they just have bows and arrows and we have muskets. But like, well, you're not taking a lot of other things into account, and maybe you're exposing your prejudice right now.
That's exactly right. And we see that over and over again in this section that we read too. So there's definitely more examples of that upcoming. But he's even more surprised when he's like, you captured 3 of them? You captured 3 of them? And the Fremen are just so casual about it too. They're just like, yeah, I don't know. Like, it was a good battle. I guess we lost 2 dudes and whatever. Like, they're just they're so chill. I love it so much. So this conversation culminates in what's called a bond of water, which is them uniting under Paul. I can't remember what the Fremen call Paul. I'm going to have to look that up again. Some cool Arab word.
Did I write it down? No.
That's okay, neither did I. Neither did I. So the Fremen appear. Oh, yeah, one of the soldiers dies while this discussion is going on. The Fremen appear to like remove him and like strip him for water essentially. And everyone's like, I don't know how I feel about that. Because that's their burial custom. And it's like, well, soz. Like,
Right.
you don't have a choice. Like you're either gonna,
When in
yeah. Anyway,
Rome.
when by the way, if there is a way for me to, like, I'm going to donate my organs for sure, but if there is a way to extract the water from my body, please do it. That's dope.
Like, I think the desert would be happy to do that for you if you just
Great.
wanted to get dropped there.
Just mummify myself out in the center of it. That would be pretty freaky for people to stumble upon. I wouldn't mind doing that. Maybe I'll do that on Everest or something.
You could like scare a little kid so bad they pee.
That's my after death goal. That's it. I've settled on it. Giselle says Usul or something. I don't know. I'm listening to the audio book. Yeah, it's something like that. So I have no idea how stuff is spelled. It's really fucking,
Just
when
like,
you're reading it, like Glynis is doing it the right way.
I like can tell when I read it and when I listened to it based on how badly my notes are spelled, because they're just spelled terribly when I'm listening to it. But yeah, no, they call him Usul, which is what in his first dream in our like first little discussion, that's what he's like. They called me Usul, and I thought it was the planet, but
That's
now,
right. Oh, look at all these threads being picked up. Nice. I like the throwbacks. It's good. What else happens here? Oh yeah, the bloody so there's like a thopter come in, and Hawat just like makes his men chill out. He's like, sorry, if you want to survive, we've made like a bond of water now, so we're all part of the same tribe and whatever. And we're all gonna get like treated, like the wounded are gonna get treated and stuff, but this is just the way it has to be. And this Fremen dude like sends a cute little like spice bat messenger out, which I really want to see. I think that's so cute. Yeah, I want one. Like, how sweet. Like in a little cage, pulls it out of his jacket, and he's like whispering in its ear. It's like the moth from Lord of the Rings. Sending it off. Some Sardaukar show up. Oh, Hawat like witnesses firsthand here the like Fremen taking them down, and he notes that they can also pilot a thopter, which is this is one of my favorite parts of this section. So 300 more troops show up in a carrier after this Fremen have like taken down the Sardaukar and taken the thopter up. And then the Fremen that like took the thopter up just like flies it into the carrier and explodes both of them. And again, this Fremen that he's talking to is like, yeah, it's a fair exchange. Just like so relaxed, so chill. Like there's probably 300 people in there, so that seems like a good swap. Okay.
There definitely is like culturally, yeah, like less of a fear of death.
Yep.
It seems almost like very Eastern, like Chinese, of like the society is what's important, not the individual.
Yeah, very much so. I agree with you.
Which there's something to be said for, when you're dealing with things like pandemics.
Yeah, it's how they've survived for so long in such a harsh environment. And you could say the same of like the Eastern cultures we have here, like there are some people that still only eat rice every day. That's it, just rice.
I've had rice and I understand that.
Like that's such a insane life for us to imagine, but it still happens on a daily basis. It's so weird to think about. So this Fremen dude that we've been talking to then immediately dies by knife to the throat because I know, right? Like, it's so cool and badass, and then just immediately like gets fucked up.
Did you like that character? Well, fuck you.
That's right, and that's why I kind of wanted to be like a really like, imagine if it was like Hugh Jackman or like some weird cameo where you're like, this is going to be a major character, and then they just die.
Right. Like the Daniel Craig like stormtrooper that just lets Lego and leaves. Yeah.
I'm trying to think, who was it in Deadpool that immediately died?
Oh, Brad Pitt.
Yeah, Brad Pitt.
Invisible.
Yeah. I want it to be something like that. That'd be so fun. Giselle says, kind of ties into the jihad mentality that Paul fears, the martyring battle tactics. Yeah, that's for sure. Not near mint. How are you? I assure you, nothing comes after death, but having the human race continue is probably something we want, right? I don't know. That's a really interesting question. When you say nothing happens after death, and like, I'm not saying I disagree with you. I'm atheist as they come, but I do like the idea of like energy redispersing. and we're all kind of made of the same matter. So like maybe there's something to that. I don't know.
I assume it's
Yeah.
nothing in like the Seinfeld sense of like, oh,
Yep.
it's nothing to do. It's just
I love that. That's great. Um, all right. So, oh yeah, Thafira is taken out by a sleeper dart. So that's the last thing we see with them. Idaho and Kynes show up in Thopters to meet Jessica and Paul. We finally enter what's described as the native basement complex of the desert. Fucking dope. Entries hidden all over the desert as like rocks and shit. So cool. I want to go like Airbnb there. Do you reckon there's
right.
something like that that exists?
Honestly, I feel like okay, I know it's a desert and I know water is hard to come by, but I feel like caverns would be like maybe the only nice place on Arrakis.
Mm-hmm. I think so too. Like it's got to be cooler than hot sand. Like I'm thinking of the
But
beaches here on the sand. I hate sand, but like here when it's like a 40-degree Celsius day, whatever that is in Fahrenheit, and you go to the Gold Coast, which is an hour's drive from me, and like walk along the sands, it sucks. Like it hurts. And when things like blow, like when you get the wind up and it's hot, and like the sand attacks you, and it feels like you're just being stabbed by it, because that's what's happening
right?
essentially. Just like
That's
that's the
why I
environment.
hate the sun. Like I went to Arizona once ever and I was sitting outside watching my skin burn. It was that fast and that hot. And like this is like how do people find this fun? I'm being burned alive.
That's
This
right.
is not fun.
And you can see the color of my skin. You can see what happens to me when I go outside at all. It's the same shit. Yeah, I get you. So Not Near Mint says, "Oh, we're all made of star stuff, all cosmic beings and all. But if we don't integrate with other alien species and go extinct, humanity would probably be for nothing." Yeah, I am with you. I just want to fuck some aliens, man. I just want to fuck
I
a
don't know.
Martian.
We've made some really delicious food that can't be for nothing.
That's
Have you
true.
had
That's true.
falafel? That shit is delicious.
Oh,
That's easily worth 1,000 years of humanity.
like the pancake pictures I get from Glynis and Dakota, sometimes I get physical drool coming out of my mouth. So, Not New Man says, "I'm in Miami. I feel your pain." Wow, I'm in Miami, bitch. Have fun. That sounds great. Are you normally Portland? Is that where you normally live? Let me know in the chat. I forget. Where were we up to? Oh yeah, so Paul is already knowing how to talk to Idaho and get that like loyalty happening. He's like real good at, as we know what Paul's like. He's just a boss. Giselle says, "Oh my god, the birthday cake pancakes, cute, so cute."
Yeah, I like how the first time I made those, people were like, "Oh my god, happy birthday!" And I'm like, "No, I'm just a child."
Yeah,
And
every day should be your birthday when you think about it. It's a miracle we all exist at all. So Kynes has a moment of doubt towards helping them, but he's steadied again, seeing Paul's composure, and Paul recognizes the underground space as one of the Imperial ecological testing stations that my father wanted as advanced bases. And Kynes notes the like "my father" heavily here. And he says, I've just quoted it here, "You've recognized this place correctly. For what would you use such a place, Paul Atreides?" Like deliberately using his name, not calling him by his title yet. And he's like, "To make this planet a fit place for humans." And then Kynes in his head is like, "Perhaps that's why I help them." And then, get ready, spoiler, spoiler, spoiler. Kynes is then referred to by his men as Liet. And whoa!
that is
Is this,
brand new information.
yeah, did you, is this something you guessed the first time you were reading this book?
No.
No? Yeah, I didn't either. Which is funny because like it's so obvious when you read it, and then like I
Right.
remember the first time being like, "Whoa!" Just yeah. Anyway, oh yeah, chat. Sorry, Ace. Hell, hey, it's the babes. What's up, baby? How you doing? How you doing, Ace? Not Newman. I've been watching Resident Alien. Oh, that's Alan Tiddick. Bloody Michael's been recommending that to us in the mod chat. And I know rural communities have the best local food. Ace, Rob. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, Sorry, maybe I'm thinking of Jessica in Portland. Are you normally in Miami? Not near Mint? I might have totally messed that up. Just let me know. Where we at? Where we at? Where we at? Oh yeah, so Jessica recognizes royalty in his voice. Because I don't think they've ever met up until this point. I could be wrong. Like Kynes and Jessica, is it the first time? Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think of this next part where so they go to this like little secret room and Kynes is like still kind of deciding if he's made the right choice by secreting them away. Like, do I give them to the Harkonnens? We get some of his inner monologue. And Paul knows that the Emperor is fucked if he survives, right? Like, there's all this secrecy that the Emperor's had to do to get away with this shit. He's had to disguise Sardaukar as Harkonnen, and the Harkonnens had to, we learn later, like, foot the bill for the Sardaukar to get there on the guild ships. And they've, like, disguised themselves as Fremen and shit as well, and, like, he's just separated himself as much as possible. So Paul kind of knows that he can pressure him into this, like, marriage alliance, as he only has daughters. What do you think of that idea?
It's cleverer than anything I would come up with.
That's what I feel like too, because he's trying to put himself in a position. He has nothing to bargain with at this point, apart from like,
right.
I'm the son of a duke that's dead. I have no land. I have no money. I have nothing. But if I marry this guy, because I'm alive and I'm proof of him being a law-breaking piece of shit. What's he say? Law is the ultimate science. Thus it reads above the Emperor's door. I propose to show him law, which I loved.
That's such a good threat.
It is like, sometimes, I don't know why I keep making this comparison. Maybe it's because I've watched too much Law and Order. But there's so many like good cop, bad cop lines in this section. I have
Law and Order just like playing on mute in the background right now.
That's amazing. There you go. Like, you get what I'm saying. Like, and even them being chased through the desert with like lasguns and blah 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 is really reminiscent of like, I don't know, like Lethal Weapon and stuff like that. I'm just getting like vibes. Yeah.
The good guy that has to like go to ground. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you get it. Yeah, it's really cool. It's fun to read because you kind of have that. I wonder if that's like the kind of music they're going to put to it, is like old school Law and Order chase type scenes. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
I haven't been let down by Hans Zimmer yet.
This is truth. It's truth. Judah, what's up, man? How you doing? I love this show. I mean, technically you are this show. You're IFLC, man. What do you think about it? Oh man, this part's sad. I don't even want to get to this part. So Paul is like presenting himself as, if I marry the Emperor's daughters, if I show up and I'm like, hey, guess what? You didn't kill me, bitch. But you didn't think you'd see the last of me. Surprise, whatever. Then he has the power to give Kynes what he wants, which is like the power to terraform the planet and make it livable. They can still have the spice, but like not constantly be worried about dying every day. So then poor Idaho is essentially like splattered against the door because this Harkonnen thing like rushes in. He dies and Kynes like shoves him and shoves the door closed, and he's like, all right, well, I guess I'm in it now. Like, I guess this is my agreement. This is me signing up. And he's kind of like, he's impressed by Paul. Like, Paul, we know Paul at this point. He's a boss. And the way that he speaks and stuff, like, he commands respect in this scene. It's really cool. Judah is not very rad, says Ace. Ace says, good, reading a bunch of stuff. That's nice to see. Glynis is home, where every day is motherfucking Christmas.
I took the ornaments off. Now it's just the lights. I want to wait till the end of February. I like having a tree in my house, Judah.
Yeah, I think you should keep it. I like it. I like it a lot. It's the birthday thing all over again. Why do we have to wait for one day? Ace says, just kidding, your tote's rad. So don't worry, Judah, your tote's rad. Ace would know. And where are we up to? Yes. Go ahead. I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
It's me trying to read and talk at the same time. It's really difficult doing two
I don't
things
even
at
know
once.
how to read, so.
Yeah, right? What are books? Oh yeah, so Kynes like takes him into a secret passage, and he's like, "Hey, I've secreted away this thopter that you guys can take, but you're gonna have to ride it into the storm, riders of the storm, and then the Fremen will seek you out after running to the vehicle." This part was really interesting to me. So they split up because Kynes is pretty sure he's going to get captured, which is exactly what happens. Paul, when they get to the craft, they run to the vehicle, and Paul's like, "I can't see what's ahead. I've already become too reliant on this new power." It's like this immediate realization that he has. So I took this quote: "If you rely only on your eyes, your other senses weaken." Is the Bene Gesserit axiom. So he took it to himself now, promising never to fall into that trap, never again to fall into that trap if he lived through this. And then they escape into the storm, and they're fucking scared, so they recite the Litany of Fear together, which I thought was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey, this quote reminds me of what we were talking about the other day. "What do you despise? By this you are truly known."
I definitely wrote that one down.
Did ya? Did you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, that's just so appropriate to. I think there's a lot of that could be interpreted as like you hate what you are. So like when you get people that are like, I'm not saying every homophobe is secretly gay, but it happens.
Yep.
Or like it kind of makes me think of like when people hate something, like kind of what is happening with you can see it with Gina Carano, of like you
Yeah.
had people that were like her character got introduced and oh she's an SJW, I hate this character, and then she gets kicked off the show and like oh but you need to keep her, and like well which one did you want, like
Yep. Choose the
but
narrative that
I
makes you
think
feel best. Yeah.
yeah the things you hate are saying a lot about you.
Yep. It's really, really fascinating to think about. So Glynis and I were talking about, I've been reading the Witcher books finally, and I started with this one. And this quote
But
I feel is, it's gorgeous. Like this whole, it's so good, guys. Please read it. If you like Dune, you'll like this. But Geralt has this quote where he's talking to, I don't even know how to pronounce his name in the book. It's spelt like Dandelion, but in the games they call him
yeah, if
Dandelion.
you're an American, it's dandelion, and I think if you're from anywhere else, it's dandelion.
Yep.
And I think he has a third name.
Yeah, he's called Yaskir in the show, I think.
Yeah.
So we'll just call him Dan. Anyway, Dan and
From the audiobooks, I've started doing dandelion just because I got
nice.
so used to hearing it.
Yeah, that's how I read it. I don't know why. Maybe I could be wrong. Anyway, they are riding to get work for Geralt, and they stop in all these towns, and Geralt gets like a full list of things from the townsfolk at this pub, and then they ride off, and Geralt's like, "All right, we're going to leave town now," and Dan's like, "Why?" And Geralt's like, "Because every single thing they just told me about is made up. None of it's real." And Dan's like, why would they do that? Like, why would they invent shit that's not there? So like this is like happening while they're like traveling and stuff. They're having this philosophical conversation, and which is the best part of these books, by the way, is like Geralt's whole like figuring out how the world works. But he says, "People like to invent monsters and monstrosities, then they seem less monstrous themselves. When they get blind drunk, cheat, steal, beat their wives, starve an old woman, when they kill a trapped fox with an axe or riddle the last existing unicorn with arrows, they like to think that the bane entering cottages at daybreak is more monstrous than they are. They feel better then. They find it easier to live." Deep.
Fucking real talk, Geralt.
Man, real fucking talk. The other one that you and I talked about, sorry to keep talking about Witcher, but he has this idea of like, which I find really fascinating in the games too. They really explore it. Yeah, like remaining neutral, right, is still a choice. Like,
Yeah.
people that consider themselves centrists or whatever, that's still a choice that you're making. So he starts off by saying, evil is evil, lesser or greater. If I have to choose between the two, I'm not going to choose at all.
Yep.
And it gets him into shit by not choosing as well. It's really interesting to think about. Anyway, that's my rant.
So also, everybody read the Witcher books. It is
Please.
fantasy with actually pretty good female characters.
Yeah, like legit. Like I've been really impressed, especially with the queen that's in the series, and now I can't remember her name, but it starts with C.
Nancy?
Yeah, Calanthe. Fuck, she is such a boss. Such a boss. I love it so much. Anyway,
I'm very excited for you to get to Yennefer.
Yes, Yennefer in the games is maybe one of my favorite characters of all time, just because again she's like clearly like I love damaged people. I love Constantine, like, but she's also
I love that she's damaged but doesn't take any shit.
Yeah, and she's also really ambitious, like so ambitious. It's really cool to watch.
I love that she's ambitious enough to like not care. Her relationship, the triangle between her and Triss and Geralt, I think is like really interesting because Yennefer and Triss are really good friends, but they both really like that Geralt D and like understand why the other one does.
Yeah.
And they understand that they both have different relationships with him. Like I don't know. I love that.
Me too. There's not enough like poly relationships in media in general, but that comes close at times with how it flows and ebbs. Dakota says, sounds like maybe the next thing you guys should read is the Witcher series. Yeah, I think that's right. Also, Giselle says, I leave my tree up all around Valentine's Day every year. That's so sweet. That's really nice. I like that. All right, we're getting to the Baron. I like this bit a lot. So he's woken up by his new captain, and I'm so sorry. I can Nephod.
I didn't write it.
I'm gonna say it like that. And tell me if I'm wrong, chat. But so he's like, "Hey, Jessica and Paul died in the storm," and the Baron's like, "Did you see the bodies?" Trying to be all, fucking Baron. And he's like, "Well, no, but no one can survive that, and we lost someone trying to follow them, and no one can live in a storm, so they just assume they're dead." They lost a shit ton of soldiers in the fight because of some cool like lasgun shield stuff. But they captured Hawat and Kynes. So the Baron plans to tell the Sardaukar his intention of playing one against the other in interrogation. But he also sees the value of like having another Mentat now that he's lost Pita. So he decides that he's going to brainwash, is that the right word? Like, I guess so, into persuade.
It's so evil.
Yeah. And I'm still trying to understand. So like, I read it and I was like, I don't think I quite get this, so maybe you can explain it to me. The Baron's like, we're gonna put poison.
He's gonna. Oh yeah, there was the poison thing. That seems like just. I think they're dosing him with the poison, but then they're gonna start feeding him the antidote.
Yep.
So that like, if they stop giving him the antidote, then he'll die because it's to avoid. Again, it's this fear of the Mother Superior.
Yep.
Because like they don't want to have to lie. So like, well, we aren't poisoning him. We're just withholding an antidote. That's kind of slippery.
Yeah. And they even say that they're like the absence of a thing or whatever. Like they know exactly what they're doing. Yeah, exactly what you said. Sorry, keep going.
And I love that it's playing on his prejudices. Like they don't even have to lie to him, really. Like they just have to let him think what he already thinks.
Yeah. Because he is convinced that Jessica's the traitor at this point, so they just have to pretend that she is, basically. Yep.
It's so weird that, like, in trying to protect the Duke, he is going to do the opposite of what Leto would have ever wanted him to do.
Yep. It reminds me of so many other instances in history where the same thing has happened. Like, what do they say? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. It's that same thing all over again. He's also gonna kill Kynes. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna distract those Imperial Guard and kill Kynes. So that's gonna happen, and we'll just say it was an accident.
Right.
Like, what?
God.
Yeah, what a piece of shit. Speaking of piece of shit, Rabban,
The Beast Rabahan.
thank you. So he's summoned to the Baron to be reinstated as the Arrakis leader, and the Baron simply wants him to, what does he say, squeeze back all that money. Just squeeze back all that money that we spent.
He's like, I need you to squeeze them. And Raban's like, okay, boss, I'm going to go kill everybody. And he's like,
no, not kill. Squeeze.
Like, it becomes so clear why Fade is the one he's training to take over.
100%. And he, like, thinks that in his head. He's like, look, I'm going to kill this dude eventually. And Fade's going to be... He actually, like, in his head... It's even worse than that, right? Like, Raban is, like, supposed to be as bad as he is to make Fade look better when he comes in.
Right.
That's revolting.
Like, what... and, like, you almost want to feel sorry for him, because, like, with Yui, at least he was doing it for the love of his wife. Or, you know, like, with Piter, he's, you know, like, at least sort of clever. But, like, Raban is just a terrible person.
Yeah, he's just a shit. And, like, that's fair. Like, you can tell straight off the bat he resents the Baron. Like, it's not like he has true respect and love for this guy. He's just afraid of if he resists. So he's, like, trying to keep his emotions in check. Sometimes he fails, sometimes he succeeds. And he knows that he can get some power if he plays the situation right.
This is one of the casting choices I am not aware of, but, like, I can't wait to see who they got for this, because, yeah, like, I want to know who's going to be, like, this vicious, angry meat shield.
Do you know who I think could work is, like, Dave Bautista?
I could see it. I'm trying to think of someone I like. See, like, I love Dave Bautista, so I'd have such a hard time as, like, an asshole.
Yeah. Plus, he's really good at playing, like, the gentle giant. I haven't seen him so much as, like, a villain, but he's just got the physique for it, and I know he's a good actor, so that's
I just don't. I'm trying to think of an actor I hate enough.
Yeah. It's hard because, like, who did we have that was playing the Mountain? There were two, right, in Game of Thrones?
I think there were three.
Like, yeah, like, maybe one of those would work, because you need someone that's, like, physically... Thinking? What was that?
I feel like, okay, follow me here. I feel like Zac Efron could do it, because he's, like, built, and, like, he's someone I think you could make really hateable, because he could be pretty and, like, ruthless.
I can totally see that. Did you watch that Ted Bundy thing that he did?
No, because I hate Zac Efron.
That's fair. That's totally fair. It's funny because, like, I've never seen the appeal myself. Like, he's just not for me.
Like, he seems like a really nice person, but, like, I just want to punch him.
If you have time, anyone after this too, like, on YouTube there are some... He featured on this, like, dating show. I can't remember what it was called. It was, like, around his High School Musical fame, obviously after he's, like, broken up with whatever her face is, Vanessa Hudgens. And it was, like, the premise of the show was, like, you go into these teenage girls' rooms and you, like, find out what you can about... Yeah, it's real sus. Like, find out what you can about them to decide who you want to go on a date with. And then they watch you from a... Yeah,
Room Raiders.
Room Raiders, yeah. And he was on an episode of that, and it's so, like, watching it is so disturbing. I think I watched that and was like, nah, he's not for me. Hey, he's not. He's just not for me. Like, there's underwear and all. Yeah, just watch it. Just be prepared. Yeah. You might need some bleach to pour into your eyes when you're done, but you're welcome. So, oh yeah, so Baron is, like, pissed because, as we mentioned before, they've spent all this money on getting Arrakis back. Like, they had to foot the bill for the guilds to get them there, and the Sardaukar there, and the guild charged them a premium for...
What time period? He's like, if it was, like, 60 years it would take for, like, full manufacturing of spice to pay that back. Like, how is that
That's a
even worth
that's a
it?
lot of money. Yeah, considering what we learned, like how much they earn in a year is basically Disney money. Like,
Like, this is what I don't understand about people who like do like coups and invasions. It's like, wow, if you have 60 years of spice money just like sitting around for an invasion, like why don't you go buy a planet that's much nicer and like, get a yacht? I can think of a much easier life than like
yep,
all this subterfuge.
that's 100% it. Like, I feel like that with Bezos looking, so he's like retired from Amazon, but he's going to go do another venture. And I'm like, why? Like, why not just
Right?
relax now? It's this addiction that
You
they have.
won.
Yeah, you won. You can stop. Like, but it's this. They have to like. It's the Elon Musk. It's the like Gates. It's the. I'm trying to think who else. Like they always have to outdo themselves. It's this addiction that they have.
I
It's kind
wish
of
I could give them a tiny bit of my laziness. I have so much extra.
right. Like just swapsies, please. Um. Oh yeah. So Baron lets it slip that the Emperor is unaware of like Yui's role in the events, and Raban relays that the Fremen destroyed the Sardaukar agents when the Baron like discounts them as a people, as we talked about before. And then the Baron like further goes into this, and he's like, "It's probably Atreides in disguise," like just fully
Right.
discounts again. And then like instead of listening to Raban being like, uh, maybe the Fremen are like strong fighters, he's like, "Hey, we got to hold a hostage from each house minor. I'm really concerned about a political coup, and anyone off Arrakis must learn that this was a house-to-house battle." So that's all I'm really worried about right now. It's covering my tracks.
It is bonkers to me how the Emperor, who is supposed to be 1/3 of like controlling this universe, is so like impotent in everything that's going on.
Yep. And you see it in like the quotes from the like Irulan excerpts as well. Like his focus is not where it should be, in my opinion.
Okay, like, am I the only one who's sort of sad that like all the Princess Irulan books, like all the quote things, like aren't real books? Because I just want to get those.
I'm sad
But
too. I
like
would love to.
in my father's house, I want to read that.
Oh my god, not near Min says Doggy is nomming on some treaties, and Ace says love that for her. We also stand treats.
And
I'm just
pets.
gonna, yeah.
Kisses.
Ace also says read Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas.
Okay.
Yep, I'll add it. Sounds good.
I don't have a thing.
Yeah, don't worry. This will
Please tell
be
me again.
this will be recorded and on the YouTube channel for anyone that misses the live stream.
Ah,
It'll be there. So the Sardaukar had no partner. You understand? The Duke was offered the usual quarter in exile, but he died in an unfortunate accident before he could accept. He was about to accept, though. That is the story. And any rumor that there was Sardaukar here, it must be laughed at. Funny. Interesting insight into the Baron here. I said squeeze, nephew.
I have for there. I'm like I said squeeze. Uh,
The same quote. Yeah.
I have one of his things under that I underlined like 4 times was the Fremen aren't worth considering,
Mm-hmm.
which like, ooh, I wonder if that's gonna come back and maybe bite you.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. And that like we see that with leaders in history all the time, where they like exactly what you described. They discount the natives and their strength and their knowledge and
It's one of my favorite parts of the Return of the Jedi is
mm,
like I love the Ewoks and it shouldn't have been anything else because it's like perfect. The thing that would bring down this like bloated empire is teddy bears with rocks
yeah,
and
it's
like
pretty awesome, hey.
technology because that's the only people that the emperor wouldn't consider. And same here. The only people that are going to be able to bring down this powerful man is the people he wouldn't even consider being worthwhile.
So true. That's really well said. You probably wrote this down as well, but I like this is a really you really get a like look into his brain with this section here where he says like Don't waste the population, merely drive them into utter submission. You must be the carnivore. A carnivore never stops. Show no mercy. Never stop. Mercy is a chimera. It can be defeated by the stomach rumbling its hunger, by the throat crying its thirst. You must always be hungry and thirsty. The Baron caresses his bulges beneath his suspensors, like me.
They actually they make you read that before you can join the Millionaires Club.
I knew it. I fucking knew it. Hey, guess what?
The pledge of capitalism.
Like it's funny how often Herbert uses these like animal comparisons. And like it's both sides are doing it. Like it's not just the Harkonnens. Well, I guess everyone's Harkonnens now, but you get what I'm saying. Like everyone is using these animal comparisons, but it almost makes you think like, is greed a natural thing? Is that what he's pointing out?
I think greed is a natural consequence of that like primal need to survive. It's just, like how folks like you and me who have problems with the anxiety, like that's left over like, oh God, a tiger's attacking me. And
Yeah,
I think that greed
Yep.
is just left over like, I need all the cabbages because I want to make it through the winter. But like, it's okay. We have plenty of cabbage.
That's so true. Why does I have to? Can I have potatoes?
Yeah, I was looking at my little figure of the cabbage from Avatar,
Cute.
and I was thinking cabbages.
That's so cute. I'm just thinking what like one vegetable would I want to survive on for the rest of the time? It would definitely be either grain or potatoes.
Potatoes are super like versatile, but they're not even really a vegetable though. They're a starch.
That's true. You're right. It's true.
I mean, but it's just like I don't know. I'd probably go broccoli. It's got so
Probably
much
go with
fiber.
what?
Broccoli.
Oh, I fucking love broccoli. Fuck yeah. Let's do it. So Not Near Mint says, you only need two things to be part of the comic community. One, read comics. Two, probably own a pet. That's it.
That's it. Right?
And then A says, excuse me, read comics? That's unrealistic. Just keep saying how great stuff in the mid 70s to early 90s was and complain about modern stuff you've never read. Those are the real comic fans. It's true.
Yes.
I've seen it.
All you need to be a comic book fan is repeat the other opinions you hear on the internet.
Or just be like a good person in general. That's definitely what you should do. Don't try critical thinking. It's too hard. Trust me, I've been there. It's too hard.
You could explode if you critical think too hard. So.
That's right. We all have bombs in our bodies that we can set up. Giselle says
in a comic book.
Believe everything you read. Giselle says love broccoli, and also laughing at Ace. So thanks for being here, everyone. By the way, it's really fun.
Okay.
We're getting close to the end now. So, quick quote to support what Glynis was saying before. A tank brain, the Baron thought. Muscle-minded tank brain. They will be bloody pulp here when he's through with them. Then, when I send in Fade to take the load off him, they'll cheer their rescuer. Beloved Fade, benign Fade, the compassionate one who saves them from a beast. Fade, a man to follow and die for. The boy will know by that time how to oppress with impunity. I'm sure he's the one we need. He'll learn. And such a lovely boy.
So it's sort of like Trump and Biden.
Yep. That's it. And like that's all I can think of is because obviously it's been like a intense political climate, we'll say, over the last like 4 years.
What?
So I know, right? So like you can't help but like have all these comparisons rattling around in your head and you're just like, yep, I've seen that. Yep, I've seen that. Like it's amazing. All right, so Jessica and Paul, they're in the storm. They crash land into the desert. They fucking leg it from a huge ass sandworm that devours their craft. Paul gets proof his. Yeah, you excited for that?
This whole section was just so like intense.
Yeah, because like he really gets into. So they're like stuck in the desert and they're surviving and they're trying to like find any.
And
where to
Jessica
go.
is just like.
Yeah, which is fair. She's pregnant. Let's just talk about how she's pregnant. And like she's probably like 5, 6 weeks along max. And that's you've got to be like hormonal and your like lover's just died and you've lost your home and you've got nothing to eat, and yeah, you're in this uncomfortable
Yeah.
still suit. It's nuts.
And yeah, everything is trying to kill you. Like literally the outside is trying to kill you.
The outside, the enemies, the emperor, everything's trying to kill you. It's nuts. So Paul gets proof that his visions aren't infallible. He's seen this version of events before, but it was different and it had Idaho in it, and Idaho's now dead. So this is when he's starting to realize, like, oh, okay, I can see futures, but they're definitely not definite. That's a weird way to say that.
Right.
Not near mint. Reading is for nerds, and they're still stuck in the Revenge of the Nerds 1980s state of mind. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, like we said, reading's hard.
Right.
What did you think about, so like they struggle through the desert, and then there's one point where Jessica is like smothered by a sand avalanche and Paul has to
That
save.
seems like such a metaphor kind of for where the Atreides as a family are right now. That just like, yeah, they're being swallowed up by Arrakis.
Yep. And I would also say it's a metaphor for like their relationship and where it's at. Like he thinks that he doesn't need her now, and then she disappears and he's like immediately freaks out and starts like frantically digging to get her out, to the point where he loses the pack. He doesn't even think about getting the pack, which they need to survive. And they're both like, okay, well, we're going to die without it. So they do this like cool, again, another bit I don't understand. There's some foam and there's a compass thing, and they do some shit and they find the pack. Anyway, they have to work together to get the pack to survive. And this is when they start realizing, like, okay, we actually do still need each other more than we thought.
I think it's like your relationship has to evolve now. You're not mother and son anymore. You're a team now. And like, but also Paul still needs her because he has that whole moment of like, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
Which I love. Like, I love how shocking that is for him. Like, oh fuck, I'm not invisible.
Yeah. And and like you keep forgetting, this dude is like 15. Like he's such a baby, and of course he's gonna think like, oh yeah, I know everything now, because that's how all 15-year-olds think. So yeah, when he makes mistakes, of course he's like, oh fuck. And she realizes in that moment too that she's not completely useless to him. It's not like he's evolved out of like her being able to help him. She says like, I need to train you more and I need to teach you more things. And yeah, it's really nice to see actually. It's kind of cute. They're oh yeah, so he asks like, how are you feeling? And she's like, I feel adequate with the pregnancy thing, which is really interesting as well. Yeah, it's weird. She also gets homesick for Caladan at one point too in there. Start thinking about it, which fair.
I think is understandable. Yeah, like, wow. Remember like a month ago when everything was so much better?
Yeah, like she thinks back to this I think it's like a vacation that they took or a holiday that they took, and like how they flew over like jungles and rivers and fish and stuff, and she's like, that was nice. I miss that.
I think it's like kind of a like, well, we've got to let that go. Like that was a different life.
I think it's that, but it's also like maybe we could make something like that on Arrakis. Like they definitely both have that goal, I think. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. Tell me what you think.
Oh, I definitely see that. Yeah, they're not. It's not just a self-interested journey. There's a whole planet to think about, and I think for sure Paul knows that.
Yeah, it comes across in how he behaves. This is the last scene. It was really sad for me. We're introduced to like 2X's son, the smuggler's son that died, and sorry, the father died. The son's still there, obviously, but he is the guy that saved Gurney Halleck, and he's like, "Hey, Halleck, I'll give you shelter as long as you don't retaliate against the Harkonnens immediately, because I don't want the contract broken, and I also kind of want some revenge, but we can't do it straight away. So this is a crucial choice for you, mate. You can stick with us and like work for us and work your way off Arrakis, or you can go try your luck with the Fremen. It's up to you."
IDK, I'd be like, I'm on peace. I don't deal with the Fremen.
Yeah. It's weird because like he takes a long time to decide because he's like he figures out that he learns all this information. He finds out that Jessica and Paul are dead, supposedly. That the Duke is dead, obviously, but that the that Raban is back in charge, and he's responsible for like Gurney's family's deaths and the scar on his face. So he's like, I need to be bathing in this dude's blood like yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very revenge driven. I'd be mad too. That's fair. So he ends up like pledging his sword to this guy, and because he mentions that he sees some like pre-Arrakis Duke in him as well as a leader. And then the scene ends with him leaving the discussion to like persuade his men to stay. There's not many left of them either. I think there's like 70 odd.
Mm.
And one of them's dying, and he gets asked to like sing a song to him as he dies, and so he sings this song, and that's how this chapter ends. And I was like, like fuck.
I think Gurney is one of the characters I am excited to see more of, because like he's introduced as like sort of Paul sees him as a fun character, but like from that first moment where he like really attacks Paul, like you can see like, okay, he's fun, but he has an edge to it. And it seems like everyone in this book is losing fucks like steadily.
Absolutely. Like because that's the thing, like they're all like, oh fuck, the Emperor did this. You know, like that's a big deal. Like it's not a secret. They're seeing the Imperial agents and stuff.
Oh, fuck the Emperor.
Yeah. That's it. Like far out. Oh, Brobo, thank you for saying that, chat. If you would all throw a like when you're here. We appreciate you. Yep. Exactly that. Also, hi, Lady Fantastic. How you feeling? How's life? Thanks for being here. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything you want to say to wrap up. That was exactly how you described it for me. It was moving pieces into place for the more interesting stuff to happen in this section.
Same. Next song.
That's it. So the next section is from Family Life of the Royal Creche is difficult for many people to understand to My Father, the Padishah Emperor, was 72, yet looked no more than 35. If you guys want to... Bene Gesserit's son! Nice.
Bene Gesserit witch.
Man, they really hate those bitches, and I love it. I'm here for it.
Of course they do.
Yeah, of course they do. They're powerful women. Everyone hates powerful women. Yeah. I don't know, chat, what do you think? What did you think of this section? We'll hang around for like 5 minutes to see if there's anything you want us to talk about or if we missed anything, but I think we did a good episode today. It was really fun.
There's just anything you need to know.
Yeah. Yeah, like, you know.
Advice.
Are you regular? Eating enough fiber, blah, blah, blah. Lady says, I read Dune back in college, and yeah, I love them too. Yeah. Yeah. Really ahead of its time, this book. It's funny, I remember like Dad telling me in high school, like, hey, you should read Dune, it's a really good book. And I looked at it and I was so intimidated. And then it's just changed.
So much that my mom was like, you should read this. And I'm like, you think I'm smarter than I am.
That's right. That's exactly how I felt. A says, when was the last time you pooped? This morning. I poop every morning. I'm one of those.
I am out of my fiber supplements, so
they'll let you know. You'll be the first to know. Well, okay, I hope chat is doing good. Thanks so much for like tuning in. Thanks so much to Glynis for like, your back must be so sore from carrying all these episodes.
Oh, I was like, what's on my back?
Thank you for doing that. I like having you on here.
I like.
What was that? I like what?
I like chatting about books. I look very much forward to our Witches series.
Yeah, we should definitely do that. Can you imagine? It would go for so long, and I'd have so much fun. Oh, is that a baby? Is that a baby? Oh, a baby.
He's always sneezing.
Lady says, I did a semester abroad in England, and a buddy I made recommended it, so read it. Yeah, it's great. Thanks for tuning in. See what I did there? Lady, come on the show. This is the puns that we need and deserve. All right, should we sign off?
Okay.
Yeah, that was fun. Thanks for being here, guys. It's just chill every week. We'll be back same time next week, I hope. And
bring your hard-hitting questions.
That's right. Destroy the
book.
patriarchy. Oh yeah, go watch the snippets of the trial that's going on at the moment in the US, and let us know what you think, because it's fucked.
Have an aneurysm.
That's right. Take regular breaks, of course, and have some snacks, but yeah, stay informed, all that stuff. Giselle says, this has been so lovely. Thank you. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Bye. Yeah.